Welcome back, guys, to Tuesday Night Hype, and we have your final match about to begin. It's going to be Zalae taking on Aqua. Now, hot me up, what do you think about what we've seen from both these players so far tonight?
Zalae is definitely a really experienced player. And looking at Aqua, he's playing a really strong meta lineup, and he definitely played really well too against Magic. Like both of the games they played are really close series 3-2 that brought them to the finals. So definitely really strong players that gone through really intense matchups. Looking at both of their lineups, so Zalae banned Aqua's Miracle Rogue, and Aqua banned Zalae Aggro Shaman. So what do you think about their picks? And what do you think their matchup lineup?
I think Aqua's Hunter is going to be really strong in some of these matchups. You know, going against that Druid, going against that Priest, and more. I think the Hunter is very good against all three of those decks. It's going to be able to get a win. At the same time, though, that Shaman could really struggle. You know, we could see that Shaman begin to struggle. But you never really know Shaman, right? You can play the 4-mana 7/7, and that just wins bad matchups all the time. So it's a little up in the air in terms of that. I do think Zalae is probably betting on beating that Shaman down into the ground, though.
Yeah, looking at Zalae's lineup, have we seen on Zalae's Warrior?
Yeah, he's running that Cthulhu Warrior, you know, so definitely, I think he's running Cthulhu Warrior a little bit heavier and everything. So a lot of good ways to gain a ton of armor right there. Cthulhu Druid with that Beast energy, and then that Dragon Nazaf Pally. Zalae brought a pretty awesome lineup tonight.
With the Dragon Nazaf Pally, priests, right?
Oh yeah, priest.
Nazaf priests. Definitely interesting to see. So we might see Zalae try to kill the priest decks against Hunter, because I think it's favorable. And we might see Aqua try to sneak in the Hunter against his other decks, because this Hunter is really good against his other decks except priests.
Well, so we're gonna see the Hunter from Aqua, but it's gonna be Zalae's Druid. Now, this is an interesting matchup. I'm not too familiar with the Beast synergy in this Cthulhu build as well, but how do you think it's gonna go for Zalae's Druid?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because Zalae brought a really interesting Druid deck with the hybrid Druid with the Cthulhu Beast Druid against Aqua's mid-range Hunter. So both of them are mid-range decks. So it's really hard to tell. I definitely think for sure that whoever gets the board is gonna be ahead and it's gonna have an edge. But it really depends on how to use the resources, I think.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups where both these decks, honestly, sometimes if you don't use your resources correctly, you kind of fall into that trap where you're just top decking. And Drew doesn't have a ton of good ways to draw cards. So maybe that's why this Beast Energy is here. You know, put things like Mark Yasiraj, which is an amazing card, and just allows your Cthulhu deck to cycle a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true too. It definitely improves the early game that just solely Cthulhu Drew doesn't have. Looking at Zalae hand, he can just go and coin up the Druid the Saber and try to have more beasts. Try to have some beast energy ready, because he can draw a card with the Morgrim Star onto the Druid the Saber if he does that.
Yeah, it has a pretty good hand to start. Definitely a lot of early threats. Looking at Aqua's hand there, has the Flame Treader, the Animal Companion, and then as we all know tonight, that Call of the Wild is going to come in handy by turn 8.
Another night on the prowl.
So Zalae decides to stealth it, so Aqua doesn't really have an answer for the 3-2, so he's just gonna play Flick Tremor.
And this is gonna be great here for Zalae. You know, be able to play the Mark Yasiraj if you want to. You could also just Wild Growth here and kind of not even attack, right? You can kind of just wait a little bit, but Mark Yasiraj looks very tempting right now.
Yeah, I will play the Mark II. This seems like a really strong play. And I would even just go face here.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and trade. I mean, I like the trade. I think you're running a little bit slower of a deck. You know, and even though this is a mid-range hunter, but you're still running a lot more slower cards later on. You might want to control the board a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you too. Because he might have the quick shot or a Q command and bull. And if this sticks, it's gonna put a lot of damage to Aqua's face.
So what do you like here? I mean, which resource do you want to use to kill off this 5/2? I think that's really the question.
Yeah, that's why I play, just to use the Q command, because it's a free mana burn, so it's harder to use it. I usually to remove it, seems good.
And then you might want to get the draw quick shot later on. Zalae has a bunch of options right here. Could use Walgrove. Gonna go ahead and use the Raven Isle to start. Ooh, Nourish could be a great card to pick up into the hand right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good like late game card. Like if you run out of steam, or you can also use Starfire, which isn't that bad. Like it clears a minion and you can cycle a card.
I think this is one of those matchups that where you're gonna be.
But I don't think that's a good card.
Yeah, you don't really want a Hunter to draw a bunch of cards, right? It's like they're usually never good at the Hunters drawing cards. That's why I think Nourish is probably going to be his pick right here, because you really wanted to make sure in the late game that you really had that advantage, and you just don't have to worry about drawing cards.
That's not tough decision. Oh, you guys
have the Starfire. There's a bunch of options there too, right?
Because you can clear a minion instead of a card. Seems pretty good.
It also takes out high main, things like that. So definitely pretty good in this matchup in particular. Now right here though, Aqua probably going to try to get a minion on the board. It's going to be the Animal Companion, able to get the 4/4 taunt, and just start to get that board presence going.
What would you do here? You can Fandral wrap the 4/4 next turn.
Yeah, so I think you definitely save it for that. You could just play like the Druid of the Claw and maybe Wild Growth if you want to, you know?
So you're thinking Druid of the Saber and then just Wild Growth pass?
Yeah. Druid of the Saber, put it in stealth. You might Wild Growth as afterwards as well. You really want to set up a nice little Fendril turn right there.
Yeah, or you can just wrap and clear it right now, or just play the Savage Combatant to mess the board. Well, looks like he's doing the
Another
receiver
night on
here.
the prowl.
This is nice. You know, this is really nice. Obviously, you have the Beast energy. You also have Savage Combatant coming later. And if Fendril's not able to be dealt with, that's going to be very, very difficult for Aqua, you know?
Yeah, I have games where like you just leave it on board and it just snowballs really hard. You can do really crazy stuff.
It gets ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's the play here? Do you think we just go Fendril, we go Rav, take out the 4? We can also take the Elec as well. So you're able to really start to get back some of the board right here.
Yeah, I just think that's the play. Definitely pretty solid play here.
Oh, if you had another mana, you could play the other route too. I mean, that would have been just... Fendril gets out of hand, you know? Especially if you've been able to land any of those Fendril Nourish turns, you know, that just gets absolutely ridiculous.
And even Raven Isle, you just get 2 cards.
Yeah, even the Raven Isle, just for the 1 mana right there. Quick shot gonna be able to clear.
One I see is the power of the wild. Like you just get a free 2 and then buff up every minion. This is really strong too.
Now all of a sudden though, Zalae, you know, this is looking pretty tough. You've been able to Wild Growth twice, you're 2 mana ahead, but what are you doing on this turn? I guess you can play Savage Combatant if you want to, Hero Power, then use the Wrath as well. You might be looking to draw some cards, but you can also just innervate out the Mire Keeper if you do want some other things on the board.
Yeah, definitely all the decisions here, but looking at the hand he has, I feel like the first decision is the best. Just pull out the Savage Combatant and play the Mire Keeper and then innervate and kill this 2/2, or maybe Wrath with it.
Well, you could Hero Power, right? You could even Hero Power, and then you get the buff from the Savage Combatant right there. So it's really nice on the back end here. You could take out a 3/3 if you want. So I think that's what Zalae's going to do here.
Yeah, it looks like that's the play he's going to do.
Yeah, innervate out the Hero Power, take out the Infested Wolf. I mean, you have that mana advantage. You really need to take advantage of that mana advantage with things like innervate and able to start set up this way with Mire Keeper.
So Aqua he actually has a pretty alright hand because you can clear the Savage Combatant with the How Master into T2 and then play a huge Toad, and he has Call the Wild next turn, which is gonna give him a really strong edge here.
Yeah, I guess like the question is that the best play? And you know, it definitely seems like it is, but I think he's definitely going through his decisions here. What else can I do? Is there a more greedy trade I can take as the Hunter right here? But you don't want to leave that Savage Combatant on the board, right? You kind of want to get rid of it immediately.
Savage Combatant is one of those cards, like, it's easy to clear, but if you leave it out, like, the hero part just gets so much stronger. It's just like your hero part just becomes like a fiery Orax. I think it's really important to trade it off.
So that looks like Aqua is going to trade into Savage Band. Still has a few options here. Could trade into the 2-2 with the 1-1s, and then probably play the huge toad at the end itself.
I like that play too.
I mean, this is tough for Zalae. You know, I guess we need to start drawing cards with Raph. You know, when you get into some of those bigger minions that are going to come later in the match right here, we have some good stuff to start though. We could Raph and Hero Power down the huge toad. You could even take out the Houndmaster. Just hope you draw into a beast for your Market Yasiraj.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Raph for 1 here. Or is this gonna play Starfire?
That's definitely pretty interesting. I guess, you know, you don't really know when you're going to be able to play Starfire though, right?
I guess it's a good thing to get that off your hand, because it's a 6-mana card, so it's really hard to set up.
Oh,
To Call the Wild.
It's time for Zalae to deal with this. All right, first Call the Wild. Huffer's going face, and all right, Zalae, what do you got here? You got Ragnaros, and I think you're gonna have to. You can even Hero Power out, kill out the taunt though as well.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
Really good top X from Aqua here. It's because he can like, just Call the Wild into Call of the Wild. And that might just do the game here. Because Zalae just have a Rag and then Margaret Sorrel. He probably needs to get a swipe or something to clear the board.
I mean, he needs Rag to hit one of these minis. If Rag goes face here, it's definitely pretty troublesome. So I think here though we'll probably just see Rag, Hero Power, take out the taunt. I'm not sure what else we could also see some other things, but it looks like that's gonna be the play coming here from Zalae. Alright, well, if you're Zalae, where do you want this to go? I mean, I'm pretty sure Ragnaros just needs to hit a minion here. Otherwise, you are in some trouble. Alright, Ragnaros, what do you got for Zalae? Okay, so it does take out the Leon. So Zalae is not going to be dead immediately to this Call of the Wild right here, but definitely in a lot of trouble right now.
It's down to 3 health now. I don't think there's a way for Zalae to come back, and I think...
Does it help? It helps a little bit, but not enough, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's enough. Because with the Houndmaster, it's going to be enough damage either way.
I mean, you might even be forced, you might even feel like you need a Market Yasiraj just to buff it up, just based on what you're
Mark and then innovate Hero Power.
At that point, though, you know, you're just in such desperation that you feel like you might just lose it, but you gotta do what you gotta do here, and I think Zalae's gonna go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I don't think you can see them until you see like a definite loss here.
Definitely like that 1 net damage though coming from the Hero Power return, right? Alright, Rag. Gonna do it again, gonna be able to take out one of the minions. We're right here. Okay, so if you are Aqua, what do you got here? You have lethal, that's what you have, right? Yeah, you got enough damage with the Houndmaster to take out the board. Leon go face and Hero Power to end game 1. Aqua's gonna take it with this mid-range hunter over Zalae's Druid.
Yeah, definitely a really strong deck. Like we can see how Hunter with the 2 Call of Wild it just does a lot of damage with 2 cards.
I mean, Zalae got the board, right? Zalae was able to establish the board, had a bunch of cards in hand. Aqua had Call of the Wild. That's what happened.
Call of the Wild is just one of those cards where you can just like develop a really strong board from out of nothing.
Guys, if you haven't been paying attention tonight, Call of the Wild is really good. It is very, very strong, and especially for the type of 100 that's being played right now. What do you expect going into this game 2, though? What do you think Aqua's going to bring next?
I say Shaman, but I don't know.
Well, if you said Shaman, you are correct, because that is what Aqua's bringing right here. Zalae's going to be on this Priest. So this Priest has a lot of ways to deal with the early minions, but sometimes this Shaman can just run away with the game, right?
Yeah. Again, compared to Control Priest, Dragon Priest, it's definitely they'll aggro more early on, like with the early game, like you can see the Ormus Agent and the Tri-Whelp.
I mean, that's what you want. This is the exact hand you want if you're Zalae. You're able to play those early game minions, be able to get those taunts out as well. Aqua, on the other hand, some good stuff. You know, you're probably just gonna want to get some minions out early, start developing a board presence. Usually the
he got
mid-range variant does a little bit better though in this matchup.
He got the Ardent Squire into the Flame Tongue, which is pretty good to train to some of Zalae stuff. So he's just gonna play the cleric.
Aqua just gonna go ahead and lightning bolt that down. Does not want the crew to do anything drawing cards here. But hey, Zalae has minions to back this up.
Zalae has a perfect early game. Because he just has the Twilight Whelp and a Wimmer's Agent, which you really want to play as early as possible. But looking at Aqua's hand, he has a Flame Tongue and Ardent Squire. We're just gonna trade off pretty well, actually. That's why this is gonna point it out.
The light
Yeah,
protects me.
Aqua, I mean, also picking up life tap right there. Very important in this matchup because you just want to continuously draw cards here, right? And you just killed the Northstar Cleric. Yeah, you just killed Northstar Cleric, so you know that Zalae's not going to have his Cleric draw engine in play. So that could be very, very big later on in the match.
Yeah, because again, is just drawn to a lot of stuff, and with that Doom Hammer, that's actually very strong later on. It's like, do you know if Zalae runs Harrison Jones or something like that?
Now, what do you think about something like Flame Tongue here?
I like Flame Tongue. It definitely trades off pretty good here.
Yeah, you could even use the Rock Biter if you want to. You did just pick up the Doom Hammer, so you may be a little hesitant about that. But, you know, you can trade in just the Argent Squire into this 2-3. This is very, very nice right here.
Yeah, definitely you want to use a Rock Biter too, because when later turns, like, Zalae can heal up his taunts. Yeah, it looks like Zalae doesn't have Harrison Jones in his priest deck, so this Doom Hammer is gonna get unanswered probably, and it's gonna be a really huge deal later on.
Yeah, I mean, as many people, you know, always think about Doomhammer just going face the entire time. But in this matchup, we get to see Doomhammer clearing out minions and just making way for Aqua to develop wards that Zalae can't deal with.
So now we're in a really good place for Zalae. I guess he can Shadow World Paint the Flame Tongue Totem and then hit in the Twilight Whelp and then heal the Twilight Whelp. I think that's the only play here.
It doesn't feel too great, right? You know, you're just left with Sylvanas in hand, and you know Shaman could ignore it a lot of the times. Yeah, this is really going to be very tough for Zalae coming these next few turns here.
Yeah, I guess maybe he can play the Twilight Whelp too. But like, you really want the Twilight Whelp unless you draw Black Mountain Minion that can like sort of like get buff from the dragon, right?
I like this, just using the heal on his own whelp so it doesn't die to something very easily like a Doomhammer.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
So I think it's Tusker instead of Doomhammer, right?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to overload right here with the Feral Spirits. You want to be able to set up that Doomhammer next turn. Another Shadow Word Paint. What do you think Zalae's looking for? I mean, he just needs a way to draw cards because you're going to be facing a Shaman with Life Tap, right? What can we do in this position?
So I think Zalae want something like a Twilight Guardian so he can stop damage from Doomhammer. Or maybe something like Drake so he can cycle more into something like Shield more. Because right now he really needs to build up a board to pressure like Aqua more. Because right now like Zalae's board is not really strong right now.
And
They're
go
really
ahead. Use the Shower Pain just on the Tuskar right there. So not really what you're looking for a lot of the time. And Aqua's gonna be able to could decide to use this Doomhammer right here, could even tap, play Archer Horse Rider, could go with the Feral Spirit. So a lot of options right here for Aqua. You know, Zalae holding on to that Twilight Whelp is very important though. I think we really need to make note of that and holding it for things like you said, Chill Maw, for Twilight Guardian. So you need to just hold on to that Twilight Whelp in your hand for a while, I think.
Yeah, looks like Aqua's gonna set up the Doomhammer, which I think is the right play too. Let's just play games to all stuff.
I have no time for games.
So what do you think of Zalae putting out in Ragnaros in his priest deck?
That hurts, right? I mean, you might have to just clear the Sylvanas, right?
Yeah, that trades off perfectly. That's actually the card he needs.
So Aqua gonna be able to use this Rock Fighter to take out Sylvanas and then safely just start playing minions again to buff forward. Gonna be able to drop the Feral Spirits at the end of this turn. And Zalae's gonna need something off the top to start putting some pressure on this board.
I can't really play anything with this turn in hand.
Yeah, Ragnar's one turn too late.
One off killing any minions. So what do you think of Holy Nova? Do you think Excavated is evil is better in the current meta? It's because Holy Nova is harder to like clear Shaman minutes because most of the minions in Shaman is free health or higher.
Yeah, I mean, Evil does a lot more, I think, right now in the meta. And especially when your opponent draws it, they're not very happy all the times, right? They don't like drawing that card. So it also fills up your opponent's deck with a card they're not necessarily very happy to play with. Right here, though, Aqua going to be able to send more damage face. And this is where I think the match is really going to be dependent on. Zalae's going to need some answers. Ragnaros can come out next turn, but we never know what it's going to hit.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry.
No, Zalae only has Holy Nova for board clear. Like, he doesn't really have the Organized Circle that Control Priest has, and he doesn't have Excavated Evil, and Light Bomb is gone. So this is actually a really hard board for Zalae to clear right now, because he already used 2 players. So he's just gonna drop down Rag here.
Yeah, Rag's gonna have to do some work. He's gonna have to take out one of these Feral Spirits, but just gonna hit the Divine
That's the worst
Shield.
target.
Yeah, and Aqua's gonna pick up the second Doomhammer, so very free to start just pushing that damage phase. Probably just ignore Ragnaros completely here.
Yeah, I think you just go face here. He's debating about whether to trade here.
I mean, it's time to hit face, right? You saw Ragnaros
right?
once. You know there's a little bit of luck on your side after you saw something like that.
Yeah. He's always down to 9. What you can't do here to stay alive here?
Holy Nova's okay. It takes out some of the mains, but Shilva is pretty good.
Yeah. That's the card he needs.
Zalae, I mean, Aqua's still gonna be freed up to start, doing more damage with Doomhammer though. So that's kind of the problem that you're facing on this current board. Choma essentially just destroys the entire board, right?
Yeah, Choma
so
really important here for Zalae.
Choma heal
best
right
top
here.
deck.
And that comes back to, Zalae just holding that Twilight Whelp, not being careless with it, right? Not just putting out the 2/1 body there, able to hold on to that dragon to activate things like Choma.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see Zalae playing as Choma and probably heal himself, right? Or do you see any other plays?
If you go for a Holy Nova, you better hope Ragnaros does his job. I think it has to be Choma, right? Yeah. I think it's more about Choma Power World, or is it Choma Heal Self, right?
Yeah, probably Choma Heal here. He's still debating about it.
Alright, Zalae gonna go ahead, drop Choma, heal back up to 11. Here, Aqua's gonna need something, and wait, Ragnaros is gonna hit face, so
is that
there.
Good or no? He might try self-relief with Rag, because Chima clears everything but the Ardent Squire.
So Aqua's just one off lethal right here. Right? Because you can play Abusive, you can buff up the Squire, and then you have 10 with the Lightning Bolt. So I think you might... Are you ever in a position to tap here?
I think you want to tap for lethal.
And then
if he lets the Drag lives...
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh god, Ragnaros can kill me. You could take it out, but then... I don't know, this is tough.
I think you could take it out if for the safest play.
Well, you can tap, and then if you miss, you can always go ahead and take it out. Oh wow.
He's 1 off, so he might be tapping here.
Well, if he doesn't tap, that's gonna be it.
Yeah, because Zalae has
what does Aqua know? If he doesn't tap, this is game, and Zalae's Ragnaros is gonna live to... Oh, wow, okay, so Zalae's gonna take this with the Holy Nova. What a finish right there. Oh my gosh. Just when you thought the Shaman could not lose, Ragnaros is on the board for 3 turns, was able to get 24 damage out there somewhere. 2 of them went face, and Zalae was able to steal this victory with the Priest.
Yeah, that's Shumo and Ragnaros in the Dragon Priest, because I was thinking, like, maybe it's kind of kind of weird that like you put Ragnaros in the priest deck, but with the Nova and the Chuma, like the built-in Hellfire and Chuma, Zalae's actually pulled it through, even though he was really behind in that game. It's definitely a really good play from Zalae.
Yeah, it's a tough position for Aqua too. You know, if you tap, then you know that you're going down to 7 health, really freeing yourself up to Ragnaros. But then on the other flip of it, you know, you're not playing around things like the Holy Nova. So it's definitely a tough decision right there.
Yeah. I would have tapped there, but it's definitely a decision to consider, like whether you want to play around Holy Nova or not.
Definitely. And right here, though, we are going to have Aqua's Reno Lock going against Zalae's Warrior. We haven't really seen Zalae's Warrior tonight just yet, but I believe it's a Cthulhu Warrior, so definitely a little bit heavier. What do you like to see in this matchup?
So it's Reno Lock against Cthulhu Warrior. So we know like both of them can kind of burst him down in one turn because like you can buff up Cthulhu to like 20 damage or something like that. And then with the Reno Lock, you can go into like Leroy Jenkins PO Faceless and that's 20 damage too. So I believe like in these matchups, like you'll see like some really swingy turns.
Yeah, there's also, you know, different ways to bring your Cthulhu back. You know, so I think we've even seen some more recent lists. Emperor is being played, and then they do things like Bran into Doomcaller.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so it gets a little bit ridiculous.
Crazy.
You can play 3 Cthulhu's by the end of the match.
So looking at both hands, Zalae doesn't really have much to play yet, but like with Aqua Shoe Block, that's a pretty solid follow-up.
Who do you think needs to put more pressure on early though here? Like who's the aggressor in this matchup?
I believe it's the Reno Lock here. Because like before you can always stall out to late game. Like Warlock, you don't wanna go into fatigue and you wanna put some more pressure and try to land a combo. And looking at Aqua, that's a really good time for the Doomsayer because he can just deny all the draws Zalae can get from the Acolyte. Zalae can execute it, but is it worth it though?
A little strange. I don't think you'd really want to do that. At the same time, you know, there's a lot of big minions in that Reno list, right? You've seen Mountain Giant, things like that being played. Or do you want to? All right, well Zalae's gonna do it, and you know what? Yeah, it's an interesting play. At the same time, you get to keep your Acolyte out there and hope that you're gonna be able to draw at least a few cards off of it.
Yeah, because looking at Zalae's hand, like compared to the hand size of Aqua, he's getting low on cards. So Aqua is saving out a lot of cards that he can't play. So maybe executing that was correct. So looking at Aqua's hand.
I think if you're Aqua, you gotta really think about like, okay, Zalae was very, you know, use and execute on a Doomsayer. He's obviously wants to keep this Acolyte alive, right? So you have to consider, okay, why would he do that?
So looking at, so maybe Aqua's thinking maybe Zalae is desperate to like draw some better cards. But looking at, he just let the Acolyte live, I guess, because like his hand is not too playable. There's a lot of like clunky cards. Like I think he's gonna play the Coin Emperor next turn. But looking at Aqua's hand, I think maybe he'll play the Draxus like as early as turn 8 to sub the pressure here. But looking at Zalae, like by executing a Doomsayer, he's able to draw like 3 cards with Slam Acolyte.
Yeah, that was super important. You know, just be able to put your hand at the size of the Warlocks, make sure that's not the one thing that's getting out of control. Like, you are able to keep up with that hand size, really keep up with the options that you have here. But right here, Aqua has a pretty damn good Emperor hand if he wants it.
That's a full hand to get Emperor value. And
you
he even have like the
pieces.
combo pieces here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like he's gonna play that right away.
So it actually looks like Aqua's gonna be a little bit more aggressive here. Gonna lead the Beckoner of Evil up. Gonna send that 3 damage to face. Probably knows that I need to be more aggressive in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Runelocks definitely won the finish game earlier against Control Warrior before they can like try to just tank up a lot of armor. and just set up board presses because like Aqua knows this is like Kaboom Warrior. So if you wait later on, he can buff and he can have a really strong Kaboom and he can have like really big swing things with the Ancient Shield Bearer that puts him up like 10 armor, and then with the Justifier, this gives him a lot of armor later on.
Yeah, it looks like Aqua here is going to be able to sort of keep up the pressure a little bit. Has the initiative, going to be able to play minions first. Very important going to these later stages. Zalae though has all this late game stuff, you know. We have things like Ancient Shield Bearer, we have Justicar. So once that hero power becomes 4 armor, it's going to start getting pretty tough.
Mental dislocator.
Aqua 10 it's alright. Like he has all the combo pieces, which he isn't gonna play yet. And then he has Jiraxis, like maybe he'll play on turn 8.
Welcome to the grand
He does have
champion.
Abusive though, which might make leave the Leroy combo a little stronger, making it 24.
Well, I mean, you could deal 24 damage all you want, right? But if your opponent's going to be
it's not gonna matter against Warriors. So
yeah,
maybe
if your opponent's going to be at 50 health.
maybe we'll see him just throw out the combo pieces without doing the full combo.
So many possibilities.
But looks like this game is gonna take like a little while here, since both players are playing a little bit slower.
Yeah, you could just drop Sylvanas here after you trade into the 6-3. You could do a lot of things like that. Or you could do something a little bit tricky. Yeah, I like that. You know, you're establishing the board a little bit, put some minions on, try to start sending some damage actually.
Yeah, emptying our hand a little bit and just sending some damage. Seems like a pretty strong play.
Now Zalae, if a ton of options as well, could just play Sylvanas hero power, could do some other things with Ravaging Ghouls. I mean, next turn you could even do some crazy stuff like Aqua to Pain, Ravaging Ghoul, you know? So you have a lot of ways to sort of keep drawing cards.
No.
I kind of like just maybe a Sylvanas or something right here.
I like just playing Elise here and tank up. Because it contests the 2 of the minions. And next turn you can act like, you can show up, act like Pain, Ghoul and Ghoul, and then you can draw like a couple of cards to have more options. Looks like he's like just gonna play the Pain, Aqua Pain, and then Ravaging Ghoul here.
It's still pretty good, you know, you're getting one card, you're getting at least 2 cards, you're able to take out the 2/1, and you can armor up as well. And you just saw Aqua use the Abusive to set up a board. So maybe you want to fight, you want to contest a little bit on this board right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty good play here. Like, with these 2 heads, like, they definitely have all of decision making needs to go with.
Well, it's interesting because, like, even if, you know, yeah, I think I was just going to go ahead and play Jiraxis right here.
But
It
he's
kind of
gonna
needs to hit
play
face. Yeah, it kind of needs to hit face and get rid of some of that armor. Gonna just hit the 3/3. Now Zalae still has, you know, Shield Slam for 8 and do a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, you can set up Gore Howl as well. Start clearing off a bunch of these minions. Zalae's in a really good position right now.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Aqua just played Rag here, because usually you want to play Rag like
Maybe
when Zalae is down to like lower, right? And maybe if you want to kill off a big minion with Rag for the 50-50. But looks like Aqua is just going really aggressive here and try to set a big board like every turn.
And, you know, at the same time, like, going face at BGH, not playing around any of the other removal cards, you know. You've already seen a Shield Slam, you've already seen Execute. So, definitely, I kind of understand the line of thought that's going through Aqua right now. You've seen 2 of the bigger removals already. Right here, Zalae has more answers.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zalae has a Shield Slam, which he can just clear the...
I have no time for games.
Gonna go ahead and just play the Ravaging Ghoul instead of Sylvanas. Sylvanas very difficult to deal with when your own Ragnaros is on board right here. So how do you think Aqua actually goes about this turn?
It's really interesting. And Sylvanas is definitely a really hard card to deal with his current hand.
I wonder.
I guess he has his own Sylvanas. Is there something with his own Sylvanas that he can do here? Like, he can Sylvanas peel and take the 50-50, but I don't think that's gonna be the play here.
That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be kind of a crazy play. Definitely one that would take a lot of guts right here. You would need the other 50-50 as well. You know, you need like, you don't need it, but you'd really want the rag to hit the 3-3 and then Sylvanas Savio.
Yeah, I mean, like, alternatively, he can faceless the rag and then just go from there and then do the Sylvanas play, like, in later turns.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of options that I didn't see through yet. This is thinking of playing the Argus here.
Yeah, just gonna go ahead and play Defender of Argus on the Rag right here. Rag is gonna send that shot to Zalae's face, taking out all of that armor. Oh, there's a brand in hand too, though. So we can do some interesting things. I think Cthulhu is at 10 already.
I think it's at 8. I didn't count, like, where it is.
Yeah, it's just been the Beckoner of Evil, actually. So pretty interesting. But these future turns, you'll be able to play a lot of stuff right here. You know, you even have Cthulhu's Chosen in hand, able to buff it up again. This Defender of Argus, though, does make it a little bit difficult for Zalae, because you'd have to trade him both minions, and all your games is a 2-3. So Aqua definitely trying to
shoot slam the 2-3 and steal the rag with the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good play.
It's a good play. You know, stealing rag with Sylvanas is always a great play, right? And you even have enough mana afterwards to play something else. So
it's
really good.
It's vulnerable to Hellfire, but still really strong play.
I mean, also look at Aqua's health now. You know, putting him down to 13, you're like, okay, do you have Reno? Are you able to heal all the way back up? If you don't, I'm threatening lethal next turn.
Yeah, with the Gorehowl, like actually stuff's lethal already. Like we know, like this deck run Grom? I don't think this deck runs Grom. So this does so a lot of Cthulhu words they cut out Grom for Cthulhu and other draw minions. But you still have the Gorehowl though, which is like 7 damage to the face if you don't have Taunt.
Yeah, it's definitely big, but Aqua, great turn right there. Able to use the Mortal Coil to take out the Divine Shield, followed by the Hellfire, and then play Reno for 20 health. So able to get
that's a
right
really
back
strong
up
swing
there.
turn there.
Yeah, I think Zalae may want to start setting up the score. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a good play here, just to decide with Gorehowl to start straining stuff before he has the ooze.
Choices.
Also, he's just gonna play it.
Yeah, and you kind of start to wonder, when do we want to pull the trigger of some of these brand plays? You know, we have Brandon to an Emperor. We also have Brandon to Ancient Shield Bearer. So we have a lot of good brand synergy right now in the hand.
So if you're Aqua, what would you do here? I think you just want to play a Drake here and then tap Peddler, right?
Definitely want to start putting some.
That's a good draw though.
That's a great draw, actually. Yeah, you're able to play both these minions if you want to, right here, both the 4 drops, and you've seen a ton of removal already, like an absolutely ridiculous amount of removal. So you know these minions, you're feeling pretty good about them out there right now.
Yeah. Both sides like can clear the board with Brawl Execute here.
But does he really want to do that?
It might be one of those things you might save Brawl for Jiraxis, you know? Wow, this is going to be pretty tough to deal with all those tokens after Jiraxis is played. At the same time, is there a better option right now?
You can try to execute 8/8, and then I guess you can develop a big minion like Twin Emperor Vel'Koz. But like I was thinking, like maybe you save the Twin Emperor with the brand, so you can. That's kind of like you get another 4/6.
I mean, you could also just do something like Elise Cthulhu's Chosen, tank up, get some minions out there. Next turn, you can use your execute, something like that. And if it gets out of hand, you know, you always have the escape button with Brawl. So there's a lot of ways you can kind of go about this turn.
Yeah. Let's see what Zalae does here. So he's just gonna execute 8/8. What's he gonna play? He's gonna play the Ancient Shield Bearer.
Yeah, it knows it's the biggest minion in that deck, right? There's not something else that you really want to execute as much as that 8/8. So Cthulhu able to help gain the 10 armor, and just like that, Zalae gained 14 armor in one turn.
It's pretty strong. Well,
Now, another question is, when do you Jiraxis, right? Like, when do you think it's appropriate to start getting Jiraxis out there and start tapping away at the 6/6s.
I think you want to play Xeraxis when you have like you have board control and you want to play it as soon as possible. But to be honest, I think you really need a board first before you can play Xeraxis because you only have 15 health. You want to guarantee that you don't die from any shenanigans from Gorehao or Kafoon. But it's like Aqua is getting really low. Both of them are getting really low in cards now. They don't have 8 cards left.
Ooh,
So I think you want to play Xeraxis.
Fire right there. You're gonna have a bunch of bursts actually in hand. You could even use go ahead and use the Siphon Soul on the 6/6 if you want to. So that might be the play here.
Or he can just go face and attack.
I have no time
Let's
for
even
games.
play Sylvanas here. Interesting.
Yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about dropping Sylvanas at that point in time? You know, you already have Sylvanas and Shadow Flame in hand, things like that. Do you think you're just trying to get ahead on board currently?
Yeah, I think so too. Let's say he's gonna brawl here.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good ball for Zalae. And if one of the minions with 1 or 2 health was, you're going to use Disciple of Cthulhu afterwards. Unfortunately,
That's the worst target.
that was the one you
worst one left,
cannot
though.
take out after the brawl.
Yeah. Kind of fortunate for Zalae.
Sad to feel too good about that, definitely. What do you think here, then? Now do we just play Cthulhu's Chosen or Elise? Something along those lines?
I would just play Elise here.
I gotta move.
Or maybe you can tank up. But in theory, you're not taking any damage from the Drake because you have tank up.
And you're probably counting exactly what you need to avoid, right? In terms of how much damage could come from the combo.
Yeah,
he
so it
knows
looks
something-
like he's just gonna use the Gorehao to try to try Drake twice.
And here comes Jiraxis. Looks like Aqua's gonna pull the trigger on this. And I like this right here because Zalae hasn't played any minions right there. You know you can start developing your own minions. And hey, once you get ahead on board, you saw the first brawl, it's gonna be very hard for Zalae to sort of come back from this position.
Yeah, it's definitely a really strong play from Aqua because now it's gonna spawn like 6/6 every turn. It's gonna be really hard for Zalae to deal with.
Definitely, and you have things like Shadow Flame, you know, you can just tap, make a 6/6, Shadow Flame, clear off whatever Zalae brings out. So if Zalae does something like Brand into Twin Emperor here, the whole board could be Shadow Flamed.
Yeah, is there a way for Zalae to win with Kafoon here? That's 6 cards left.
We'd have to get a pretty big one, right? Pretty big one, and looking back at the list, I'm not sure if Zalae is running the Doom Collar, but that would definitely be a very important factor as well.
Looks like he's not even running the Doom Car. It's just a Kafoon warrior that's more anti-aggro and controlless.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough, you know, in this sort of control matchup to really use that to, you know, you don't have the Doom card neither to play the second Cthulhu, which gets like absolutely out of hand. Might have to run into some awesome Elise energy coming into the match. Right here, gonna drop Brand, play Twin Emperor, and hey, whatever, you get 3, 4, 6 taunts.
Yeah, getting 3 taunts was really good. But unfortunately, he has his Shadow Flame, which is just gonna clear everything.
And this is like a perfect position for Aqua right now. I mean,
He even
you
had
can-
a Twisting Never.
Yeah, you can tap, and you can just play Shadow Flame, and then at the end of it, you can play even something else like Syndicate, right?
Yeah. Looks like he's just gonna do that play.
Dingo. Yes.
I mean, we talked about throughout the match, you know, Zalae had tons of options, ways to clear board. All right, well, here's Cthulhu, and it is going to
Only
be
10
a
attack.
10-10. What are we doing? Are we dropping it?
I think you just try to buff it up a little more and try to survive here.
I mean, can you survive here, though, right? I guess you can use Disciple of Cthulhu and your weapon to take out the Senjin.
Maybe-
Then you know another 6 damage is coming, and you expect something like Leroy to come as well.
Yeah, definitely looking really bad for Zalae right now.
So that's actually going to be enough damage for Aqua with the PO and the Soulfire in hand and the weapon. Doesn't even need the weapon, really. But yeah, right there, Aqua has enough to finish out this match against Zalae. What a match. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a match that came down to the wire at the very end. But Aqua just had some key turns where he's able to really turn the board.
Yeah, Aqua just had enough damage to deal with Zalae. Like, he had like constant threats every turn. And Zalae lost the draw, and Zalae had to use like Shield Slam and executes early on. And that was really important. Because Aqua sees that, and he just keep pressuring Zalae with more minions. Like turn after turn.
Even if, using the execute on the Doomsayer was the correct call because you got to draw a bunch of cards off the Acolyte, it still really hurt you. And not that it wasn't the right move, but it hurt you that you had to use that execute so early, right? So you had to use a lot of your removal really early and then losing that crucial brawl with the 4-8 staying alive. Now Aqua's only going to have left his Shaman here. So what do you think his chances are of this Shaman going against this big old warrior and the Cthulhu Druid?
So I think Control Warrior is usually known as to be strong against like aggro decks, and looks like Aqua is playing aggro Shaman, so maybe Zalae can stall the game and use Tank Up and Ancient Trooper later on to like stall the game.
I mean, it usually comes down to like Twin Emperor can end the game on turn 7. If you have Cthulhu buffed up, Twin Emperor can just come out and end the game there. There's a lot of other things. Even like Ancient Shieldbearer can kind of end the game with that 10 armor gain right there on turn 7 as well.
But looking at Zalae's hand, not really anything to play like early on. Like I can't play Acolyte on turn 3 or on 5, but looking at Aqua's hand, he's gonna develop a lot of strong minions early on.
You can even coin out Tuskar here if you want to. You might even wait because now you also have the Flaming Faceless in hand, so you could just develop the Trog if you want. There's a lot of things right now.
There's a lot of like good minions to develop from Aqua's side.
I'm gonna go ahead and coin out the Tuskar.
Yeah.
I like this. You're just getting more minions on the board, and you're actually gonna summon a Mana Tide.
That's really good against Control Warrior. That's like almost the best one. It's probably even better for a
keep up with all the card draws. It's gonna be very hard for Zalae to deal with that at all, right? And right here, again, Aqua can just keep playing minions and then keep refilling the hand with this Mana Tide Totem.
Yeah, he even draws the Doomhammer. So we're looking at like Zalae's like deck list. Like he doesn't have Harrison Jones in any of his deck. So Doomhammer is gonna be really strong against almost every deck that he has.
What do you think here? I mean, we could just play the Trog and Totem, maybe something like that, and take out the Acolytes with what we have on board.
Yeah, I like just playing it a little slower because right now you have like a handful of stuff to play on Aqua's side. You can just like develop a little bit by little bit and try to like pressure Zalae a lot.
Yeah, you may even be like a little concerned. Ooh, Ravaging Gold is gonna be pretty big too. But you may be concerned. You don't want to overplay into a brawl, right? And Zalae already has 2. Aqua doesn't know that, but Zalae already has 2 brawls, so it has to definitely just pump the brakes a little bit. This Ravaging Gold though could come down here, deal with some on the board.
Yeah, and with Mana Tide up here, it's definitely help Aqua a lot. He's gonna just draw like 2 cards in turn if he doesn't deal with it. It's actually gonna be such a huge deal.
Now, as a Shaman, I mean, yes, you can keep playing around Brawl, but what do you think is the best way? I mean, are you just going to try to hit that totem as much as possible? Or is there a point in this match where you really do need to pressure face a lot?
I think you just try to put like 1 or 2 threats every turn, like not committing too much. And just try to like poke Zalae or like try to deal like a little bit of damage every turn. Like, looking at Aqua's hand, he has a lot of stuff to play, so he doesn't need to play everything yet.
And Snap Brawl is like taking no time to make that decision. I think we all knew it was going to happen there. Who's going to win this brawl? It's going to actually be the Mana Tide. So it's going to be pretty tough for Zalae. That thing is not going away anytime soon. And when you give these aggressive decks chance after chance to keep refilling their hand, it gets really tough.
This is an aggro, you want to grind them out like for them to like run out of steam. But like right now, Aqua just draw threat after threat. He's never gonna run on spin with the Mana Tide. So that's actually really devastating against Zalae. I mean, so it's really devastating for Zalae just because of Mana Tide. Because like Aqua is not running out of steam anytime sooner, and he's just gonna put like a lot of strong stuff on board for Zalae to clear.
Definitely, and just able to keep clearing Zalae's minions as well with once Doomhammer drops right here. So Zalae recognizes that, gonna go ahead and slam off this Mana Tide. Does not want that thing to deal any more damage. Develop Elise, get the nice 3-5 body out there too.
2 Flame with Faceless. That's gonna be hard to clear for Zalae. He hasn't even drawn to a second an execute or a Shoe Slam yet. He even has a taunt to like.
Yeah, even the taunt. So this might. When do we pull the second brawl? Right? It's obviously not something we want to do immediately, but we have no way to deal with the 7-7 right now.
Yeah, and he really needs a Shoe Slam right now to deal with the 7-7 because execute doesn't do it because of the taunt.
And like, can you take that 7 damage? If you're Zalae, probably not. You know, not when your opponent has a full hand, and that's where the Mana Tide really did a lot of damage. So interesting to see what Zalae does here.
He's trying to shield block to find something. And stay
Might like drop Aqua.
Gravity does too much here.
Yeah, Aqua Pain here because next turn you're gonna be able to use some of it. But right here, you're gonna be taking 9 damage to face from this Flaming Faceless.
Yeah, it's not looking really good for Zalae.
In terms of Aqua, what do you think is the best way to go about this turn? Like, how many minions are you trying to clear? You know, where's the rest of this damage? When are you developing Doomhammer? What do you think about this one?
I think you're developing Doomhammer this turn. Because you know that Zalae doesn't have Harrison Jones in his deck. And you can put pressure like you can do 4 just with Doomhammer every turn. Unless he sees a play where you want to develop more minions.
Yeah, you could. Honestly, you could do something like Rockbiter and play the other Flaming Faceless. You could do something like that if you really wanted to. I think you'll probably save your second Rockbiter now, though, for the face. You need to get out there. Where you could even develop the 5-5 if you want as well.
He's just gonna try out the Aqua and play the Flame Tongue. I like this one.
It seems pretty good. Able to take out the Acolyte with the Lightning Bolt, make sure it doesn't draw more than 1 card, then send 13 damage to face. Alright, Zalae, I think it's time to press Brawl again and see what happens.
Yeah, you need to Brawl here now.
The question is, are you killing the totem first, right? I think it's one of those things.
I don't think you clear totem, you just Brawl here. And hold the taunt totem wins actually.
So
Or the
many
Flame Tongue.
choices.
Yeah, because you also have Warrocks at the end. So there's a lot of ways you can sort of deal with the second minion here. Definitely needs to win this brawl right here. And okay, it's just going to be the Flame Tongue, so Zalae can clear this off with the Fiery Warrocks if he wants to. Still at 14 health though, and staring down a full hand from Aqua right now.
Yeah, and now Aqua knows like Zalae or use like 2 Brawls array, so he's just gonna flood the board with look
You
at
can
his
develop
hand.
Doomhammer and then tap and then play 2 0 mana 5/5s with taunt.
Yeah, he can play like 2 5/5s, 1 7/7, a Flame Juggler. That seems balanced, right?
Well, I mean, you don't even have to do that. Oh yeah, you did just see second brawl, so you have no problem doing that. But even if you want Doomhammer, but yeah, as you said, you can just play Flame Wave, Flame Juggler, 5/5. Good luck, right?
Yeah, you can just put 17 damage on board, and that's gonna be a lot of stuff. That's all
Alright.
has to like, do.
Okay, so we have Ravaging Goal, we have things like Execute. There might be a lot of other ways to deal with it right there, but so much damage on the board, 17 damage, and it doesn't look like Zalae has any way to deal with this right now.
You can play the 4/6 taunt. Would that even let him stay alive though? No, because Aqua has Doomhammer, Rockbiter, and Lava Burst. That's 15 damage on his hand plus 17 on board.
Maybe.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
really strong.
No.
That's just ridiculous. Now, Zalae probably knows that. Going to go ahead, play the Justicar. It's going to keep him alive just based on what's on the board. 18, 17 damage on the board. But, hey, Aqua has damage in hand. And Aqua is going to take this one 3-1 over Zalae. So, coming here with this Shaman and just wrecking this Cthulhu Warrior.
Yeah, really strong plays by Aqua. That's with the Mana Tide. You just get like a lot of value with it.
That was it, right? Like getting that mana tide and then just turn after turn, drawing a card, drawing another card. And then once you're able to fill your hand as a more aggressive deck, it's just very, very difficult. And honestly, looking at the lineups in general, Aqua's lineup was pretty primed against Zalae's just before we even started here.
Yeah, this is a really strong lineup against like Zalae's like control decks. So congratulations to Aqua for beating Zalae 3-1.
Yeah, congratulations to Aqua for taking Tuesday Night Hype 77. I hope you guys had a nice time. I totally did. It was great casting with you, Hot Meowth, and we'll see
Yeah.
you guys next week.